Good morning. This is the first of 2 videos that you're going to get out of me today, plus Monday Night Going in Raw episode 186 tonight. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not even here to talk about the fact that the Wednesday night live show will be rebranded this Wednesday. Yes, that's right. But we'll talk about that later, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we're over here on, where are we at? Are you serious? This is the website that ranked them. Polygon.com had the audacity to rank all the Spider-Man movies, and I think you know where I'm going with this, but monkeys, roll the footage.
Yeah, that works.
I like
all right,
that.
okay. All right, moving on.
Hey, what about Tulip?
All right, here we are. You see the pictures, ladies and gentlemen, and a picture, they say, is worth 1,000 words. So let's dive into this list right now. I'll give you my thoughts along the way. I'm not going to read the whole description because it's Polygon and their writers basically suck. Every Spider-Man movie ranked. Spider-Man versus Spider-Man versus Spider-Man versus Spider-Man. Well, actually, it should just be 3 Spider, because Spider-Man is Peter Parker. There's somebody who wants to pretend to be Spider-Man, but you're not Spider-Man. Will there ever be another live-action Spider-Man movie? Oh, almost certainly. This is by Susan Polo, at NerdGirl on Twitter. Oh, this ought to be good. Entertainment editor at Polygon, founder of the MarySue.com. And there's no pronouns in the bio, which is absolutely fucking shocking.
Liar!
Article, we'll take a look. Let's just skip down to the meat of this, shall we? Because we already have a feeling. We know where these people are going to go with this list, but let's take a look here. Number 11, Infinity War. And I should say, these are movies that Spider-Man is featured in prominently. Not just his movies, which doesn't make a lot of fucking sense to me, but we'll go with it because it's Polygon. We know they're idiots, and they have no clue what they're doing. So we're going to take a look at this here. Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, they ranked them both together. Early in the process, a strong push was made to include Captain America Civil War as a movie with its own take on Spider-Man. And if you're going to include a movie that had Spider-Man but wasn't really about him, you have to include all the movies that had Spider-Man but weren't really about him. But it shouldn't surprise anyone that Infinity War and Endgame were at the bottom of this list. Civil War might boast a fun and fresh introduction to Spider-Man, but Infinity War and Endgame's packed runtimes barely have the time for Peter to do anything but blip into dust, traumatize Tony Stark, and serve as a football in a contrived girl power moment. Wow. I'm shocked that Polygon, especially this Susanna Polo, called it a contrived girl power moment, because she founded the MarySue.com, which is heavy intersectional feminism. So I don't understand the thought process of her insulting something that she helped build, which, I mean, the whole girl power thing, but I don't know, maybe she realized that it was a shite moment and it turned more film goers off than it did attract them to the movie. Not to say that Endgame didn't attract a huge, I mean, obviously, it, 2.7 billion or 2.5 billion, whatever it made. It was still not that great of a movie, looking back in retrospect, especially comparatively speaking to Infinity War. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 coming in at number 10. This is another movie. At the time, I really lambasted Andrew Garfield for the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I've said, I had to change my stance a little bit, not on the movies, but on Andrew Garfield, because in No Way Home, he was wonderful. He really redeemed himself from the performances that he gave in The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, which I really think were a lot of bad writing. And now that he's older and he's matured more, he plays a much better Peter Parker. When he was younger, we're talking 10 years ago now, which sounds weird with The Amazing Spider-Man. We're talking 10 years ago. I mean, just think, we're talking 20 years ago for Spider-Man, which turns 20 this summer. But with Garfield, he was too cool to play Peter Parker, but he was a great Spider-Man. So the translation now with him being 10 years older is like, wow, he really fits into this role more, and it's good to see, and I appreciate him more. And would I like to see Amazing Spider-Man 3 now? Yes, take my money. Number 9, The Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man 2, we had the death of Gwen Stacy, although, like I said, if they would have brought in an MJ, I think we would have had too many problems, because we see how poorly the MCU has done MJ. Well, I mean, not MCU. Sony, in conjunction with Marvel, has done MJ. But, of course, they wanted to make it more diverse, so they took, and you have MJ, Michelle Jones Watson now, not Mary Jane Watson, and Zendaya, who's in a real-life relationship with Tom Holland. And I remember, and I've stated this many times, covering the Spider-Man Homecoming on the radio when I worked in FM, years before it even came out, when it was announced that they were going to recast, they were going to make it. Now, this is 2015. I believe I covered this story about them wanting to make the cast more diverse around Peter Parker. And at the time, I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. You know, why would you? It doesn't make sense to race swap everybody, which is what they did. We're past that now. Jacob Batalon, whatever, forgettable. The kid that plays Flash Thompson, horrible. Zendaya redeemed herself in No Way Home, because after Homecoming and Far From Home, which I hated Far From Home, she was just terrible character. The fact that he wanted her so much in that movie was just a joke. But Amazing Spider-Man, not a great movie. That's why it's where it is. Like I said, you have Andrew Garfield back then, who didn't play a good Peter Parker, but played a great Spider-Man. Maybe I should go back and rewatch him again. It's been years since I've watched these movies, at least 3 or 4 years since I've seen either of the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I should probably go back and rewatch them just for the hell of it at this point. Number 8, Captain America Civil War. This was a great introduction to the MCU for Spider-Man, and until No Way Home, honestly, his best performance in the MCU. Infinity War was okay, but like I said, he just wasn't there that much. The beginning scenes, he was there. The battle scene at the airport, his introduction, it was great. It was well done. The problem was, this leaned into him being Tony Stark's, sort of ward or underling, which Spider-Man's fans know he's nobody's underling. Spider-Man is one of the most recognizable superheroes in the entire world. Can stand on his own, and we saw it when he went toe-to-toe with Captain America in this movie. Number 7, Spider-Man 3. This movie had issues from production. Avi Arad having to include Venom in this movie was a big mistake. You already had your main villain with Harry taking on the role of, basically Goblin Jr. Then you have Sandman. Flint Marko was a secondary villain. And Venom's story was so compressed and disjointed, and Topher Grace was horribly miscast in this. You should have had more development for Gwen Stacy, because I think Bryce Dallas Howard have made a much better Gwen Stacy than Emma Stone. What? I'm not an Emma Stone fan, never have been. I just don't care for her at all. I don't think she's particularly that great of an actress. I think she's odd looking. I don't know. Her eyes are too far apart and her face is smushed. It's weird. I don't like her face. Yeah, Spider-Man 3 was fun. Not a great movie, though. Number 6, Spider-Man Far From Home. This one I could see falling further down the list. I would almost put Spider-Man Far From Home around the Amazing Spider-Man, in between Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. This movie was horrible. I absolutely hated this, and I felt badly because I went to the theater to see it with my best friend, and we've never had an argument in 25 years. We didn't argue about it, but I could tell he was pissed at me because I ruined the movie for him. Not by giving him spoilers or anything like that, but because I picked it apart in the theater. And I really tried not to, but I couldn't help it. Everything about this movie narratively was garbage. It's Peter Parker. I know he was supposed to be a young kid, but giving up the Stark tech to somebody you just met like that made no sense. His character's smarter than that. I mean, if you look at it from the comic standpoint, he's on par with Reed Richards as far as intellect goes. And I don't think you would have seen Reed Richards giving away the keys to the kingdom, as it were, as Spider-Man did with the glasses with Mysterio, allowing him to be framed for the murder of Mysterio, leading into No Way Home. This movie was a mess. It was garbage. The best thing about it was Mysterio, the aesthetics of his character, as well as the visuals. Number 5, Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie was phenomenal. This movie made me tear up a couple times, and I know what you're saying. Oh, well, Kevin Smith did. No, it's been a long time coming, wanting to see the actual 3 Spider-Men together and see Tobey Maguire and Andrew get another crack at donning the blue and red. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. All 3 of them worked well together. We got a live-action variation of the 3 Spider-Man meme. No, it was just great. This was what a live action Into the Spider-Verse could be when you use the actual Spider-Man instead of token Spider-Man.
You've got to do better.
Spider-Man Homecoming being ranked above No Way Home is a joke. This movie's decent at best. The one redeeming thing about this is Michael Keaton. Tom Holland had a good performance. Yes, he did. Michael Keaton as Vulture made this movie pop. He made it fun. He made it good. He played a kick-ass villain. And it was really weird seeing Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Tom Holland's character, go after his daughter because his daughter was so one-dimensional. You know, there was nothing to that character. And obviously they did that because they knew where they were going with the movie, with the character. Number 3, Spider-Man 2002. This movie turns 20 this year. Is still one of my favorite superhero movies ever. As much as I have enjoyed the MCU up until Infinity War, this still remains one of my favorite superhero movies. I remember vividly seeing this in the theater and how exciting it was seeing Spider-Man on the big screen, because in my childhood we were promised a Spider-Man movie that never came to fruition from the good folks at Canon Films, and it never happened. And I really was hoping, and it would be great, it won't happen, but if in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness you got the Canon Films Spider-Man. I have issues with this being third. Let's go down to number 2, because the issues are only going to get worse. Number 2, Spider-Man 2. This is a slap in the face. I mentioned slaps in the face as Spider-Man fans. This is a slap in the face to people with a modicum of intelligence, because anybody out there who knows what's going on in entertainment knows why this movie's number 2. I'm not saying because it deserves to be number 2, because it doesn't. This is number 1. This movie that came out in 2004 is still the gold standard for superhero movies and Spider-Man movies. I kind of said at one point I think this may have edged out Spider-Man 1 as No Way Home might have edged out Spider-Man 1 as my second favorite Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man 2 is the gold standard, as we said. There's no substitute for this movie in terms of quality, character development, making you feel something for the character. No Way Home, you needed so much to get that feel. You needed so much other stuff going on. This is a contained Spider-Man story. This is something that Tom Holland has never really had, a contained Spider-Man story. So I don't see how you put this at number 2. Now comes the point in the list where I'm probably going to... Now we're at the point in the video where I'm probably going to yell and cuss a lot. So, if you're listening around small children, or if you're listening in public, I suggest you turn your volume down or put earbuds in now. Here we are, the number 1 Spider-Man movie according to the idiots at Polygon. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
You are one pathetic loser.
Oh, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you honestly fucking kidding me? Why you include fucking cartoons is beyond me. This should be in a separate list. Oh, the multiverse was in No Way Home. Yeah, in No Way Home. In a live action movie. Not the fucking cutesy little animated movie that, whatever, it won an Oscar. And I say this as somebody who enjoyed this movie. I've seen this movie a dozen fucking times. My son loves this movie. But at the same time, it's a cartoon, and it's not about Spider-Man. It's about tokenized fucking Spider-Man. It's about token Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Kid Arachnid. When you talk about Spider-Man, you don't fucking say, yeah, so did you see the new Spider-Man movie? And everybody's like, oh yeah, Miles Morales. It's like, no, motherfucker. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and spare me the, oh, well, there's Spider-Ham and Spider-Noir and Penny Parker and Peter Shut the fuck up. Those are cartoons. It's not live action. I don't consider that. I hate when, like, Star Wars did this. Oh, well, this is canon and that's canon. And they're fucking cartoons. It's animated. That's not canon to a fucking live action universe. That's stupid. I don't care. You'll never convince me otherwise. And I know there's a bunch of little 20-year-olds out there going, well, you're just a boomer. No. How does that even make fucking sense? So you have Kingpin in this from now. Is Liev Schreiber's Kingpin canon? Are we going to see him in live action along with Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin? Like, what?
Are you fucking high?
To say that Miles Morales is the best this movie, don't even say it, because I know where the fucking SJWs that hate watch me are going with that. No, it's not. It's utterly ridiculous to consider animation canon. It's stupid. I hate it. And I don't just hate it because this movie's #1 ranked by fucking Polygon, which is, like I said, Polygon is basically virtual toilet paper. There's the list, ladies and gents. Now it's your turn. What do you guys think? Do all the YouTube things. I'm not going to go through them all, you know. Today is Monday, January 17th. We're at 955 subs right now. Ladies and gentlemen, help us get there by the end of the week. You know, share the video. Leave a comment that helps us in the algorithms. Like the video and ring the bell for notifications if you subscribe. I'm Etepo Queen of the Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of yous.
I could do this all day.
If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow. I'll catch you on the next one. And remember,
It's better to burn out than to fade away.